Hello and welcome to TVP World. These are World Talks. My name is Alex Semlinsky. Now, on August 7th, Ukrainian units crossed the Russian border from northern Ukraine in what many analysts first suspected was little more than a token raid. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has recently acknowledged for the first time that Ukrainian forces are fighting in Russia's Kursk region. And now Moscow is saying that Kyiv's troops are up to 30 kilometers inside Russia. And joining us now to talk about this further is Milan Lelich, a political observer with RBC Ukraine. Good morning and welcome to TVP World.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So now I'd like to start out with the latest that we have learned is the fact that President Zelenskyy has said that the Russians started a fire at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. That fire has been said to have been put out, but there has been damage done to one of the cooling towers. What are your thoughts on all this, and how might this go further, especially with this very strategic place, which is the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant?
Well, the exact situation there on the site is unclear because we do not have Ukrainian authorities and media, moreover, they do not have real access to the site. But what we know, this is definitely a provocation by the Russians. Maybe they maybe they have gathered some automobile tires and set them on fire, so there is so much smoke over there. So this is definitely a provocation. Well, maybe the basic scenario is that they are desperately trying to distract attention from what's going on in the Kursk region. They know that the whole world is really following all nuclear alerts, nuclear threats, wherever they appear on the globe, because this is what everyone is interested in. To prevent a nuclear catastrophe. So they are sure that it will definitely make the headlines in the Western media as well. So this may be like sort of a provocation, but as of now, all the nuclear agencies say that the situation is still under control. There is no leakage, no nuclear leakage. So everything is more or less okay as far as it can be okay in these circumstances. But this is, again, it emphasizes what Ukraine has told multiple times. If this station is not under Ukrainian control, it will always be a big danger coming from there. There will always be a big danger. So this is what we are seeing right now.
That's right. And what about, do you think, is there a possibility that what the Russians did at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, is it some kind of response or revenge to having the Ukrainians go into Russia?
Yes, sure. This is my top one scenario or top one explanation. They want really to distract attention from what's going on in Kursk region, because it definitely has showed that they are really much weaker than they try to put themselves. And so this is just, a very, very basic media technology. If something's going not in your way, just create another headline and everyone will discuss this, but not the first one. So I think this is a very plausible explanation of what's going on in Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant.
And now, when it comes to the Ukrainian incursion into Kursk, what, in your opinion, is the goal of it? Because some people are saying that maybe this is a way that Ukraine could be trying to strengthen its position when it might come to the negotiation table in this war that Russia started.
Well, our officials do not give a lot of official explanations, and they also do not want to share a lot of information in the off-record regime. But what I understand and what I got to know is that this operation has really multiple goals, starting from quite an obvious ones: to make the Russians regroup their troops, maybe to ease pressure in Donbass, because these troops will be needed to defend against our incursion in Kursk region, so they will redeploy them. And but I think that maybe really political or geopolitical goals are more important in this story. In particular, first, this has clearly showed that Russia is weak, that all these stories by Russian propaganda that they are so military strong and powerful, that their regime is able to react so swiftly, unlike the democracies, but they have the authoritarian or dictatorship regime, but it is so capable of reacting to everything what's going on. This is just untrue. This is a myth, because everyone has seen that they are totally surprised, that they are really caught off guard. No one really knows what to do, either to give up their positions there in the region, or to wait for another troops to come, or what to do, where to run, what to do, what to say. This story really reminds me very much of the events of last summer, when Yevgeny Prigozhin, the founder of the Wagner Group, launched his incursion on Moscow, and it was all the same. Everyone was so disappointed. The Russian Guard, the special services, the police, everyone was really disappointed and not knowing what to do and where to run and what to say. So this is what we are seeing right now again. And I also think that this incursion also has clearly showed our Western partners that all these fears of escalation, that they just do not work. Because what we've used to hear multiple times from the US, from Germany, from other nations, like, oh, we are able to give you this weaponry, but we will not give you that weaponry, because that weaponry, if we give you that weaponry, Russia will start a major escalation. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be a third world war, like this. We've heard it tons and tons of times. But now we see, what are we seeing now? We see Ukraine not a missile attack on the Russian side, on Russian sovereign territory, but Ukrainian troops are there on the ground, on the soil. And do we see any real apocalyptic reaction from Russia? No, absolutely nothing. Even their most radical officials, they even don't mention the usage of nuclear weaponry, because a lot of people in the West are afraid that, oh, Russia is a nuclear power. If something goes on, there is an escalation and there will be a nuclear war. But okay, now Ukrainian troops are on the Russian territory, and it is almost officially recognized. And no one is talking about the usage of nuclear power and so on. So I think that our Western partners will really make lessons of this story and will lift whatever limits are left about the usage of their weaponry or any activities of the Ukrainians. So West is able to give Ukraine everything Ukraine needs, without any fears of any escalation, and to allow Ukrainians to defend our land the way that we think it's okay to defend.
Right, so that was actually going to be my next question, which you just answered. So I'd like to go back now. You mentioned the Russian response, even the highest levels being taken by surprise. So where is Putin in all of this? And do you think that will these events of the last couple of days undermine his position?
Well, this is always very hard to talk about Vladimir Putin, where he is and what he thinks, because he is always in the bunker or somewhere else, and he's shown very for several minutes on Russian state TV. But still, we all have watched their first meeting about this situation with the Russian military leadership, and Putin was really unable to hide his disappointment, hearing from his generals that everything is going on, that the Ukrainians will soon be defeated or are defeated almost. I think even he understands that this is all bullshit and this has nothing to do with the reality, and he really could not hide his disappointment with this situation. Well, he really tries to play this strong leader role, his amplua, but I think that even many Russians understand that, again, this has nothing to do with the reality, because, again, we are not talking about war in Ukraine, even Crimea, because the Russian thinks there is their territory, but still we are everyone admits that the war is now on the Russian soil, and Putin is the one who cannot, defend the Russians. But still, I will not be very much optimistic that this situation will bring, some major shifts in the minds of Russian people, and they will understand that their leader is so weak and cannot defend them. I don't think this is enough. I see that they still consider him to be their leader. Maybe, what we are observing right now, especially in the social media, everyone is blamed for this situation. The generals, the Chechen Ahmad troops, the police, the intelligence, I don't know, everyone, the border patrol, the local governors, the military correspondents, everyone is blamed for this situation in Russia, but for Putin. Putin is not the one to be blamed for anything. So I don't think there will be very major aftermaths of all this story inside Russia, unfortunately.
Right. And then how do you think this incursion in Kursk will influence the morale of the Ukrainian army?
Well, this is also, I think, one of the goals, probably the secondary goal, not the primary one, but still, because for a long time here in Ukraine we did not experience many victories. Well, we didn't suffer major defeats either. But still, there were no really big victories because, sinking another ship in the Black Sea, another Russian military vessel, we got used to it. This is not something that really makes the headlines for many days. But I think this story is clearly a victory because we have caught our enemy off guard when everyone thought this is impossible because there is so much Sputniks and drones and intelligence, so no one can surprise. One side is unable to surprise another side with any movements, but still it is possible, and Ukrainians have proven it. So this is really a huge boost for morale, both of Ukrainian military and Ukrainian people, Ukrainian civilian people as well.
And how do you think this incursion might shift the overall military balance in this conflict?
Well, this is quite hard to say because we have only very rough estimates of how many Ukrainian troops are involved and how many Russian troops are involved. Definitely, Russians have suffered severe losses, which is proven by the footage, for example, that you are showing right now. Well, I don't think that, again, this taking into account Russian resources, that they have hundreds of thousands of people of military personnel. They have still thousands of tanks and artillery and millions of shells and all this stuff. So I don't think that this particular story will really will turn the table and dramatically shift the military balance. But still, if it manages to ease even a bit a pressure on Pokrovsk and other cities in Donbas region where Russia keeps having an offensive, it will be perfect. It will be good news, and it was definitely one of the goals of this whole operation.
All right. Well, some positivity there. Milan Lelich, political observer with RBC Ukraine. Thank you very much for your insight and for speaking to us here this morning. And that's a wrap for these World Talks. But as always, do stay tuned to TVP World for more breaking news and interviews like this one. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.